Recently I did a video showing off how to make use of the udders from the top of the sunshake machines. In this video I'm going to show you how to use Totebot heads to make a boat that uses no fuel and can be crafted within your first few days of playing. If you do find this video helpful, please click the like button and consider subscribing for more videos like this. Also, I do stream over on Twitch, link is down in the description below. Let's get started. So the reason we're going to use Totebot heads early on is because they have what seems like the perfect ratio for making a boat. Now, normally what I would do is I would use wood 1. So I have a video I posted probably like a couple months ago, I think, where I showed off the boat that I have. And if you're actually making a boat using thrusters, I would definitely recommend using wood 1 because it has really light weight and it has tons of buoyancy. So it's able to fly across the water. But early on when you're playing, you're probably not going to be able to get a lot of wood 3 because wood 3 requires wood 2 and metal 3. Wood 2 requires metal 2 and wood 1. And of course, metal 3 requires wood, metal 2, and then you need embers and water. So getting these resources really early on is probably not going to happen, especially if you're focusing on building up your farm and doing other stuff. But what you can do is instead use the Totebot heads. As you can see, the Totebot heads seem to have the perfect ratio for making a boat. They have a 4 weight, 4 durability, 4 friction, and 6 buoyancy. So they actually float perfectly. What we're going to do real quick is I'm going to go out and show you exactly what I mean, because I built a tiny little boat here before we take a look at the actual boat. So I built this right here, and this is just 5 of them in a plus sign basically. And as you'll see, when I take the lift off, they just float right there on the water. So if we put them up on the lift and take them like deep underwater, they should float right up. Let's get that off of there. Bam. They're gonna slowly float up, slowly, and they're gonna be just above the water. And what ends up happening is they just make like a perfect boat. So I can't take credit for this. This idea was actually from one of my friends, Blue Flame. He, along with Divine, are playing on the Scrap Mechanic Survival World we're doing that we just started back up. So he came up with this idea. And the way it works is we're going to go look at his, which is much bigger and works much better. And as you can see, we were testing out different stuff. So we tested like soil and other things you might get early on. But as you can see, it's in this shape. Now, he messed around with different shapes. This seemed to be the best one. The reason it is in this shape is because what you're going to do is you're going to stand here and you're going to hit the front. You're going to hit the bot heads like here, right here where my cursor's pointed in the direction you want to go. And it typically goes pretty straight, not always. But if you want to turn, you can just hit one of either the 2 over here or the 2 over here, and it'll help you turn a little bit. We tried this with the soil bags and different shapes for this thing. This just seemed to be the best shape. So the way it works is you just stand here and you hit it. And the faster you hit it, the faster you'll go. Now let's see if we can avoid this trash pile over here. So we're going slightly to the right. I'm not a master at sailing on this thing. But as you can see, we're moving pretty quickly. So if you have water you want to traverse early on, instead of trying to swim across it or try to farm the resources for making an actual boat, and then thrusters, which thrusters cost a lot of component kits to upgrade, this is definitely good use because you should get tons of Totebot heads just from just wandering around the map and exploring. And also if you do raids, especially if you're planning carrots, tomatoes, and red beets early on, you're going to get 4 or 5, maybe 6 or 7 Totebots every single raid, and they have a chance of dropping their Totebot heads. So in the past, basically what we used the Totebot heads for was just either cosmetically, or we would just make them despawn. And as you can see, I'm not the greatest at driving this. So yeah, if you hit it like that and change directions, you probably could mess with the shape of this. He just tested out a little bit, and this was pretty solid. So as you can see, we're moving pretty good here. Once you get in a rhythm, you just move really quickly. And you can also have other people in here. They will not fly off of it, unlike when you're driving on a car. So if you're driving a car that's powered, obviously, by an engine, if someone's standing on it, it goes too fast, so they'll just fly off. But when you're using this thing, you can actually take people across here. So one thing we were thinking about doing is there's a giant lake that splits the road between the vegetable packing station and the fruit packing station on here. And I was thinking about making like a ferry just to have something to do. And make use of the Totebot head so we could ferry our cars across it, because while it doesn't take that long to drive around it, it's a decent drive. And like I said, it just makes use of the Totebot heads, because up till now, mainly you see people using them cosmetically. You can make music with them, but in general, people are not really using them other than maybe making a wall out of them. You know, like I said, I have not mastered driving this, but once you get used to it, it's pretty decent. As you can see, I'm like just going all around here. We're using absolutely no fuel. Well, maybe that's a better strat there. We want to go back that way. That's where the mechanic station is. So if we hit it a little bit to the left there, then hit it in the center. So it's not like the boat where the thrusters where you can just get everywhere extremely fast, but if you're early on, this is a great way to make a boat for exploring, for getting across large lakes. Maybe there's an island out in the water that you don't want to swim over to all the time. You can just use this to get back and forth, and it makes use of it. And like I said, it just so happens that the Totebot heads seem to have the perfect ratio. As you can see, they're submerged probably like 90% of the way, but they're just sticking up far enough that you can use them to actually traverse across the water. So thanks again to Blue Flame for coming up with this idea and letting me share it with you guys. And hopefully you liked the video. If you did, please make sure you like, share, and consider subscribing for more videos like this. Also, if you want to see some Scrap Mechanic live streams where we do stuff like this all the time, head over to my Twitch and click the follow button. There's a link for that down in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.